animal welfare. Yan na ngayon ang trend sa mundo. They talk about animal welfare. Kailangan pag-harvest mo, diretso sa ice tulog agad. Yun ang animal welfare. Hindi na sila nasasaktan. Frozen sila. And then we have feeds and feeding, then harvest, chemical and probiotic use, labor, personnel training, personal hygiene, traceability records, and the summary of our PNSGQ. What is GAQP? These are considerations and procedures and protocol designed to foster efficient and responsible aquaculture production and expansion to help ensure final product quality, safety, and environment sustainability. GAQP focus on optimizing production system and management protocol within the farm to maximize animal health, worker safety, and minimize the likelihood of a production disease outbreak. So it intends to provide practices to prevent or reduce the risk of hazards during aquaculture production, harvest and post-harvest, handling ensuring animal welfare. Ito ng BIFAR, CIFDEC, DOST, Tambuyog, and the private sector, yung mga growers, hatchery operators, traders, and representatives from BAPS as secretary. What are the 4 pillars of GAQP? These are the food safety, animal health and welfare, environmental integrity, the socio-economic well-being of those involved, of the practitioners. So yun yung mangrove restoration. Ngayon, yung voluntary certification, katulad ng Costco, ng Walmart, yung mga big companies sa first world, gusto nila yung shrimps mo may tatak certified. So may Aquaculture Steward Council, tatatakan siya ng best aquaculture practice. Kaya some of our farms, nagpapacertify sila ng mga shrimps nila. So pag-export, meron siyang tatak. Priority siya na binibili. Pero these are the shrimps that goes to yung mga commercial establishments. Kung direct naman sa mga domestic, sa bahaus, no need for certification. So these are some of the certification: Best Aquaculture Practice, Global Aquaculture Alliance. These are third-party certifiers. Aquaculture Certification Council, ACC, Aquaculture Steward Commission, among others. So may mga permits, iba-iba, sanitary permit, ganyan, environmental, ECC, environmental effluent, in-check nila yung influent, yung papasok ng water, inflow, at saka effluent, yung outflow. Meron ding land use sa Bureau of Lands, then regulatory, BIFAR and Bureau of Animal Industry. Bali kasi yung sa drugs, veterinary drugs, na ini-import din natin. So may sa aquaculture, meron tayong certification, may regulation tayo sa import, which will be discussed by Dr. Jojo Songa, na import. Then may operating business sa DTI, import and export also. So ito naman yung sa location. Some of the requirements, bago tayo magtayo, yung proof of legal rights, pwedeng titulo, pwedeng FLA or leasehold agreement with us, or pwede ring lease contract with a private company or private individual. So dapat walang pollution, no risk of pollution, because these are the mangrove areas. And as much as possible, hindi natin sisirain yung wetland or yung ating mangrove. So yung pond natin outside the wetland area. So yung increased pond and water quality, dapat hindi na magiging problema kung maganda yung site selection natin. And yung mga negative impacts ng environment, yung mga spawning grounds, mangroves are spawning grounds. Doon nanganganak karamihan ng mga species natin. So hindi natin dapat siya sirain. And of course, ito restoration to ng mangrove. Next slide. So influent water quality naman, this is going inflow. Yung pond water quality is directly affected by the source. Kaya dapat yung source natin, hindi siya maraming organic matter. Meron kasing area na may domestic waste, may agricultural waste, may industrial waste. Hindi yun magandang area. Iiwasan natin yun kasi maraming bacteria yon. Malaking impact doon sa oxygen demand. Kasi pag may bacteria, maraming decomposition, malakas ang consumption nila ng dissolved oxygen, which will compete with our animal, our shrimp. So, kailangan i-check din natin, water natin for nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, ammonia. We are going to do water quality hands-on this afternoon. Tuturuan din tayo mag-compute kung ilan, tapos kung ilang pH ang dapat, kung ganito kadami halimbawa, ganito kadami nitrogen, ilan dapat ang pH, malalaman natin yun. At saka, alam natin dapat yung optimum level ng mga water quality parameters, kasi yun ang importante for the growth of shrimp. Like pH, dapat at least 6.5 to 8, mga ganon. Dapat alam natin yun. Pag ganito ang level ng sabihin natin ng phosphorus, dapat ganito ang level ng ating pH, parang gano'n. So, dapat mababalance. So, we have to minimize yung exposure to animals and animal waste. For the proper soil naman, early morning hanggang mag-late afternoon and early morning, dapat ang ating pH ay 6 to 8.5. Early morning, mga 6. Hanggang sa late afternoon, doon tumataas na yung 8.5. So, ito, yun yung brown, yun ang good soil. Yung black, yun ang bad soil. Maraming na dyan nagdi-decompose. Akala niyo maganda, uy, green. Tapos pag kinuha mo ang kate, nung minsan pumunta ako doon sa isang shrimp farm, doon sa labas, may beach. Ay, ang ganda ng tubig, ang daming algae. Ay, pagbaba ko, ang tuhod, ang kati-kati, ang itim-itim pala sa ilalim. So, dapat talaga yun, dinodouble check. I-flow talaga natin kung earthen ponds yun. Kailangan may araro, gano'n. Mas maganda kung yung pond natin medyo, hindi naman malapit, may access sa maganda yung power, may road, hindi tayo masyadong mahirapan, may mga airport, may mga ibang port, shipping port, pets at railway. Mas maganda kung may transportation access. Next. So, yung discharge natin, yung pan natin, mas ma-okay kung yung pag-discharge ay parang sloping, para easier. Downstream, yun ang palabas. Hindi yung pababang ganon, dapat palabas ang tubig mo. Kasi kung madumi yung tubig, kung pag ganon, pupunta sa'yo. Kung yung slope ay papunta sa pond mo. Reservoir is for incoming, settling is for outgoing. Elevation, ang recommended natin, at least 1 to 2 meters above the tide. So, above the highest tide. Tataas na talaga tayo, hindi tayo excavate. Elevation will be easier to manage pag 1 to 2 meters above the highest tide. So, these are high-level dikes. This is at Davao. Mas safer kasi yung pond natin pag high-level yung mga dikes natin. So, yung dike slope natin, at least 1.5 to 2 per elevation of 1 meter. Yung slope is 1.5 to 2, tapos 1 meter ang elevation. May tinatawag na core, ayun yung nasa baba. Maganda rin yung dike natin kung may core, kasi napipigil din yung entry ng tubig sa labas kung hindi maganda yung tubig sa labas. So, yung core trench yun. Pond bottom should be even and slope to harvest. So, to allow proper drain and harvest management. Next. So, ito yung layout natin. Yung ating drainage should be higher kesa dun sa harvest pit natin. You place the drainage system at least 0.3 meter above the canal water level, and this will aid in our harvest. Discharge or harvest control gates should be durable and efficient, which helps reduce harvest time. So, ito naman, yung regularly shaped natin na pond, these are usually, yung kasi mga existing na, yung mga traditional ponds, mas maganda kung perpendicular siya sa wind action. Makita natin, kasi yung erosion na prevent yun. Next. Pero pag lined, soil will not be a problem anymore. So, next. So this one are diffusers. May mga maliliit na butas to. Mabigat siya, so hindi siya umaangat. So pag may tubig siya, nasa ilalim lang siya, tapos very fine ang bubbles na lumalabas. Kasi yung nakakapit dito, yung hose na itim, tapos yung may mga maliliit na butas yun, fine na ang kanyang bubbles. This is for oxygen. Pero at the same time, gumagamit siya minsan ng paddle beat pa. This is at the touch farm. So ito, importante yung farm safety ng ating mga workers. So you maintain a safe environment. Dapat yung facility natin, alam ng workers kung paano siya gagamitin. Importante yan kasi there was a time na minsan yung farm tumatanggap ng mga students for on-the-job training. Naiwan siya doon, huminto yung generator, bumaba sa tubig, namatay yung bata. So kailangan talaga yung workers natin, inform sila on what they will do kung merong mga emergency responses. Importante din na yung mga manual nasa isang lugar lang para mababasa-basa nila during their rest period, say lunchtime, tapos sila mag-lunch, magbabasa-basa sila ng mga biosecurity manual at saka yung mga manual at equipment natin. Next. So, ano yung biosecurity? Ito yung mga practices na in-exclude natin yung mga pathogen. Ayaw natin nun. So, kailangan meron tayong, alam natin yon. So, these are in broodstock facilities, in hatcheries, in farms. And then, ang purpose nito, disease prevention. And then, these are also procedures, according to Dean Akiyama, to protect the living organisms from contracting, carrying, and spreading disease. So these are the challenges that the shrimp industry globally is experiencing right now. Environmental impact and sustainability. This one is yung problema sa climate change, oil spills, leakages from industrial facilities. So sa environment, disease, outbreaks, and biosecurity. Masasabi natin na namamanage ng growers ang disease kasi nung early 90s, 72% of our samples were, I think year 2000, 72% of our samples were positive of white spot. But this time, it's just like around 2%. As of now, pag tinignan namin, baka umabot ng mga 4%. Pero ibig sabihin nun, yung 72% to 4%, that's a lot of improvement. Diba? So this is white spot. It is inactivated at 50 degrees centigrade for 2 hours only. It's viable at 30 degrees at least 3 to 4 days without a host. All decapods, crustaceans are susceptible factors. Rotifers, bivalves, artemia can be vectors. White spot in WSSB infected shrimp, 100% mortality within 3 to 10 days. Gross signs, may white spot. Yung white na yan, it could be mistaken as lime. Pero hindi. Pag kinaskas mo, hindi yan matatanggal. Yung lime matatanggal mo. So, nagkakaroon siya ng white spot present sa carapace niya, reddish or pinkish. Ang first sign of defense ng shrimp, nagiging pinkish siya, namumula siya. Pag nakita mo medyo pumupula siya, humihina na yun. Pumupunta sila sa gilid. Umaakyat sila. Ang shrimp bottom dwellers. Pag nakita mo na umaakyat na sila sa gilid ng diet, may problema yung pamumuno. So, ito naman apen. Ito yung normal, ito yung disease. Makita mo, yung stomach niya, full, puno. Yung hepatopancreas niya, brown. Yung gut niya, may pagkain. Pagkain siya. Ito wala, pale lahat. May sakit yan. Apen yan. So, ganon. Yung stomach is empty, hepatopancreas light and shrunken, at saka gut is empty. So, yun ang may disease na siya. Ito naman, sa EHP naman, yung fungal infection. The masses are not tumors or cysts, but hundreds of microscopic parasites. Shrimp become infected by digesting spores from the water, kaya iwasan talaga natin na magkaroon tayo ng microsporidiosis. The sediment from eating EHP, infected live shrimps, or by cannibalism. So, pwedeng ma-infect siya sa tubig, sa sediment, at saka sa shrimp, at sa fins. Next. So, ito TPD bago to. Ito sa mga smaller shrimps, mga PL, post-larvae. So, ganun din siya. Vibrio paremuliticus, disrupt the hepatopancreas. Kasi halos lahat ng sakit na sa hepatopancreas. Kasi para siyang kidney, ganyan. Lead to rapid mortality. So, ang symptoms, ganun din, empty gut, colorless translucent hepatopancreas, limitations and sluggish movement, hindi na pumipitik ng mabilis, mahina na siya. Pag nag-collect kayo ng sample sa hatchery, ilalagay nila yun sa basin, kasi ikot-ikot niyo yun. Yung pumipitik, malakas yun. Yung may iwan sa gitna, yun ang mahina, yun ang kunin niya para i-test. So, bias sampling tayo. Then, mortality starts rapidly within a few hours. 80 to 100% ang mamamatay within 24 to 48 hours. Tapos 3 to 5 days post-stocking, doon mo pala mapapansin sila na humihinga. So these are some of the biosecurity practices in our farms. So meron car tire bath, may mga gates, may mga fence, tapos nilalagyan nilang povidone. Minsan meron silang spray, ini-sprayhan nila. Yung iba, ini-sprayhan lang yung tires. Meron silang pang-spray ng tires. Kasi baka galing sa ibang farm, para safe. As ito, meron tayong lined na yung ating ponds. Of course, high-level dikes and gates. May bird scare. To foot bath, hand washing stations. Next. The disinfection of our equipment is very important. Sun drying of our nets, our cast nets. Tapos we use feeding trays para makita natin talaga. And then, syempre, wearing of boots para hindi yung sapatos natin sa labas ang gagamitin. Tapos yun nga, yung handling of inputs, dapat safe. May gloves sila sa PL, sa feeds, zero visitor policy on culture areas, hindi nagpapapasok basta-basta. Tapos may security logbook tayo to monitor the entry of staff and visitors in and out. My name, anong kailangan, ang purpose ng visit, yung time, tapos may signature ng visitor. High level talaga, mataas talaga yung kanyang fencing, nilagyan niya mataas na fence, mataas ang dike, may bird scare. So this is a central drain. Mas stiffer, mas maganda yung slope, mas stiffer, mas mabuti. Kasi mas madaling mahihigop yung dumi pa baba. At least 5 to 7% of the total pond area, yung ating toilet. Next. So ito meron siyang culvert. Nalalim siya. Ito yung sludge tube. Ito yung humihigop sa dumi. Tapos ayun ang automatic feeder niya. Next, how they remove sludge. Tapos yung sludge pan, malayong-malayo talaga siya sa pond. So ayun yung dumi na sludge na nahigop. Next. Ito yung nag-molt, yung mga shells. Next. Ito yung lumot na kukuha din. Next. So yung automatic feeder, tapos mayalim talaga siya, yung tao hanggang kalahati lang yan. So again, the foot bath, the hand wash, bird scare, crab fence. Okay, next. So the same. So those are the biosecurity accessories that some farms are practicing. Yung mga equipment nila, sinasandry nila agad. Ito yung safety disc. Ito yung transparency at least 30 to 45 centimeter. Yun pag binilubog mo, dapat hanggang 30 meters makikita mo pa siya. Yun, pag hindi mo makita siya, turbid na yung tubig mo, kailangan magpalit. So, importante, pag storage, clean mo yung equipment mo. Yung iba, hindi na nililinisan. Linisan mabuti. You keep it in a clean storage area. Make sure yung equipment for handling. Keep equipment for product handling separated from other machineries. And reminder, yung mga feeding trays, nets, harvest containers, tubs should be sterilized before using in a different pond. So these are the storage room for the paddle wheels, and ito yung diffuser, I think. Tsaka ano ba to? Basta yung ginagamit nila sa equipment. Tapos yung mga iba nilang gamit. So malinis talaga siya. yung mga workers sa labas lang yung sa mga sasakyan nila hindi pinapapasok. May parking sila sa labas. Tapos, yung boots nasa sun-dry talaga yon. Meron sila pampalit ng boots. So, ito sa pond. Ito sa earthen ponds. Rock dry. Kasi ipunin nyo yung muck na yan, ilalagay sa sako, tapon sa malayo. Tapos, i-compact yung lupa. And then, between production runs, dapat yung soil natin, use a hydrated or slake lime applied to pond bottom to reduce microbial count. So, pwede tayo mag-apply yun. Lalagay tayo ng lime. I-spread mo yung lime sa soil mo. Next. So, ayan, lime. May lime niya yung lined. Ang lime pond niya, may lime niya, tapos jet pump pa nila yan para malinis na malinis. Meron tinatawag na green water technology, merong brown water, meron dito yun yung biofloc, merong clear water or blue crystal water. So, tatlong klaseng tubig. Yung green water, ito yung may fin fish, may tilapia. Ito yung mucus ng tilapia are being used as there, see? Ito yung tilapia as biomanipulator. Ito naman yung brown. I think the most qualified person to talk about biofloc is the one who's selling biofloc. Brown water is biofloc. Yung biofloc, meron siyang heterotrophic bacteria. So, these are bacteria that use organic carbon as their primary energy source. Hindi nila kayang gumawa ng sarili ng food. So, ito ay mga cluster ng bacteria. Ang purpose kasi natin dito na maging diverse ang microflora and microfauna ng water mo. Hindi lang isang klaseng bacteria ang nandun na magdo-dominate. Kasi ang problema natin kung ang mag-dominate ay yung bad bacteria, hindi yun maganda. Kaya nagkakaroon sila ng biofloc para mag-iba-iba yung nandun. Ito yung blue water. It reflects the color of the sky. Ibig sabihin nun, kulang siya sa nutrient. Masyadong malakas ang filtration mo. So, kailangan hindi masyadong clear. Keep animals away, diba, from the production area. Ito naman, yung nursery niya, nilagyan niya talaga ng net, diba? Para hindi talaga pumunta yung bird. Diba? So, kinover niya talaga para walang growth din yung blue-green algae. So, ito talaga yung sa nursery sa loob ng warehouse. Isang buwan sa loob ng warehouse nila nilalagay. So, one month na bago nila nilalabas doon sa malalaking ponds. So, another practice sa biosecurity, yung focus natin, yung post-larvae. Aside from yung sa environment, yung post-larvae din. So, appropriate time of stocking, umaga, early morning, or in the late evening, afternoon, yung hindi na mainit. Tapos may acclimation, yung fry, ipapa-acclimate natin. So, maintain the PL quality for checking para, yung PL natin, na makikita naman natin yan siya sa microscope. So, tinitingnan natin kung pipitik-pitikin siya. Ganyan. Next. So, ayun yung sinabi ko, yung method ng sampling. So, pag magsasample ka sa lahat ng corners, tsaka sa gitna, tapos i-swirl mo, tapos ang i-collect mo yung sa gitna. Yung water quality, kailangan i-monitor natin palagi. Next. So, mga important monitor. Sa physical, yung turbidity, yung secondary, temperature, 28 to 32, salinity, 15 to 30. Ito yung mga chemicals, sa pH, at least 7 to 6 para sigurado kasi fluctuations can affect the shrimp metabolism and maintain stability in adequate salinity. DO, critical yon pag less than 5. Tapos ay ammonia dapat less than 0.03. Toxic kasi yon. Yung nitrite at least less than 1 ppm. Toxic din sa shrimp. Calcium, kailangan din for growth. Ay hindi ko nalagyan pero meron niya mamaya ko-complete. Hardening and rigidity, yung exoskeleton, yung shell nila, importante yon. Lalo na pag nag-molt sila para tumigas agad. Ganon din yung magnesium sa exoskeleton at sa osmoregulation. Okay, next. So, ka-importante din yung alkalinity. Itong hydrogen, ito yung rotten eggs mo. So, yun, oxygen is very critical for all life. Kasama tayo doon. Saturation levels depend on water temperature and salinity. So, kung mataas ang temperature, onti yung oxygen. Pag mataas ang salinity, mababa din ang oxygen. So, ano sila eh, interrelated sila. Next. So, you can measure it by may mga meters, may mga probes, meron din mga test kits. So, ito yung sa oxygen. Pag less than 4, shrimp survive but growth is slow, immune system decreases, response. Ang desirable range at least 4.5 up. Mamamatay na sila sa 1. Temperature, so important, so inverse ang relationship niya sa DO. Okay? So mataas siya, mababa ang DO mo. Impact sa biota, ganyan. Impact pan biota metabolism and oxygen intake in temperature. So, yung oxygen solubility sa salt water, ganyan. Pag 12 degrees, 11.3 ppm. 22 degrees centigrade, 8.9. Pag 32 degrees ang tubig mo, 7.3 ang yung oxygen. So, yung animal, dapat specific tolerance siya. Ito malalaman, kailangan niya talaga yung temperature niya, ayaw niya na mataas mo siya. So, ito yung pH. So, 0 to 14, shrimp can tolerate 6.5 to 8.5. 7 is neutral. Pag mas mababa, acidic. Pag mas mataas, basic. So, increases during daytime, yung pH, decreases sa nighttime due to respiration and increased carbon dioxide levels. And it buffers yung available carbons. So, ito yung pH, mababa, 6 sa umaga. Pagdating sa tanghali, tumataas. Pagpababa, bumababa ulit pagpagabi. So, ito yung mga importante, alkalinity, carbonates, hardness, and calcium. Calcium for molting and hardening of cells for osmoregulation. So, ito fertilizer naman. So, may organic at saka inorganic fertilizer. So, yung organic, hindi yun na ginagamit masyado. Yung manure. Bawal yun. Bawal yun. And next. So, ito naman yung sa animal welfare and vector control. So, dapat walang animals. Prevent yung mga birds, crustaceans, other fishes. So, for the shrimp health, yun na, yung stocking density natin dapat appropriate. Good quality of post-larvae. Do not use wild-caught larvae. Dapat sa hatchery. Tapos yung proper acclimate of post-larvae to the pan. So, dapat doon pa lang sa hatchery, alam na nila yung temperature sa pan mo. So, ile-level na nila. Tapos yung salinity, ile-level din nila. Kung mataas yung salinity sa hatchery, halimbawa 30, tapos yung sa pan mo 25, dahan-dahan nila yan ibababa, ipapantay nila yan sa 25. So, i-inform mo sila kung ano yung water quality mo. Para yung hatchery, susundin nila yung quality ng water mo. Feeds and feeding naman. So, feed is the #1 cause of shrimp production. Feed is very important contributing factor to reduce water quality, nakakasira ng tubig. Know the nutritional requirement of species and life stages. Make sure that feed the proper form and size. Baka mamaya, feed ka ng feed, hindi naman nakakain, sobrang liit na, laki na ng shrimp mo. O kaya, sobrang liit ng shrimp mo, sobrang namang laki ng mga feeds mo. So, dapat meron ganon. Mag-consult tayo sa mga feed dealers. Request letters of quality guarantee. Pag bumili tayo, may quality guarantee dapat. Test feed periodically kasi baka may contamination. Ano ba yung mga testing natin? Chloramphenicol, oxytetracycline, nitrofurans, aflatoxin. Tinitingnan nila yon. All feed should arrive from supplier with tags. Dapat may tag. Ingredients, may nakalagay na ingredients, may date of manufacture, may feed meal ID, may lot number. If medicated, properly labeled, specific use, application date, just like your medicine, dapat meron ilalagay yung dosage din kung may medication. Next. Storage. Feed storage. Must be kept in dry, cool, pest-free areas. Dapat mahangin. Off the floor, merong yung pallets. Away from walls para may ventilation. Space between pallets, dapat may spacing. Do not stock too high. Tapos yung inventory mo, syempre, back to front. So kung ano yung unang unang ilalabas, diba? First in, first out. Retain all levels. Yung iba, tinatanggal nila yung labels. Di nakakalimutan nila kung ano yung nabili nila una. Next. Record feed. Dapat may record ka, may book ka. Ilan ang DO sa umaga, ilan ang DO sa hapon, ilan ang temperature, pond number, tapos feeding, ganyan, average weight, biniweigh pa niya. So dapat meron ka, kasi importante may historical record tayo. Pond area, date of stocking, stocking density, source of pride, DOC, average body weight, weight gain gram per day. Importante yon kasi pag nagkaroon ng issues, hindi natin nagkasakit, makikita natin kung ano nangyari. So meron tayong historical records. Alam na natin kung anong gagawin sa susunod. Essential inputs for feeds. Probiotic, pwede tayong maglagay 30 minutes before feeding para ma-absorb ng feed yung probiotic natin. Para Yakult, para maganda yung tiyan ng shrimp. Feed additives, vitamin C, dapat water stable siya. And then, yung cod liver oil para hindi sila papayat. Ayun. So, for osmosis din yung fats. So, kung maalat masyado yung tubig, kailangan nila ng more oil or fats para ma-regulate nila yung sa metabolism nila. So, ito na yung harvest. Tapos na. Mag-harvest na tayo. I-check yung shrimp size. Tama ba yung size na kailangan ng market? Maganda ba yung tubig? So, you drain. Prepare all paperworks, documentation. Begin drain to accommodate the morning harvest. Clean or stage all equipment and personal. Dapat ready na lahat. Tapos yung harvest time, dapat alam nyo kung kailan kayo mag-harvest. Umpisa mo na sa madaling araw hanggang umaga, ganyan. Kasi dapat mabilisan kasi pag tumatagal, yung shrimp lumalambot pumapangit na yung quality. So I shrimp immediately upon harvest to reduce core temperature. Para hindi siya agad masisira. Parang as fresh as they are, dapat yung ice agad. Tsaka yung animal welfare. Use ice and clean water, so dapat malinis talaga yung water, which is important for the quality of our harvest. Use of pond discharge or canal water increases bacterial count, madaling masira yung shrimp natin, and reduces the quality and price of our shrimp. So yung mga second or third day of harvest, bumababa yung presyo, hindi na magaling shrimp, marami ng leeches. So for chemicals and probiotic, all must be properly stored, used, documented, disposed of properly when expired. Formalin used to treat certain protozoan parasite is the only chemical approved for shrimp production by USDA. So dapat alam natin yung mga ginagamit natin mga chemicals kung approved o hindi. Kasi pag nag-inspection kami, o kaya yung mission, ayun, may kakaproblema. So production personnel should all understand the pond shrimp management fundamentals, biosecurity basics, cleanliness and sanitation basics. All workers should understand workers' rights and responsibilities, wages and working hours in fair labor, living conditions clean and safe, social aspects in harmony with community. Next, management, sa hygiene ng tao, management should maintain workers' health records. Nag-i-inspect din tayo dyan ng toilet, di ba? Workers should use appropriate restroom facilities in appropriate farm areas. Workers should change into clean clothes upon arrival at work. Traceability and record keeping, these are all in our good aquaculture practice. Production, personnel, equipment, input, draw out, yung daily monitor, intervention, and projection. Tapos facility management, safety, compliance, and performance. Sa biodiversity, yung scapies, baka may makalabas, pumunta sa open waters and captive stocks. Limit the incidence of scapies to the environment, natural environment. Predator control. Use of lethal methods in eradicating non-shrimp predators are classified vulnerable in the International Union on Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources.